Hello and welcome to the seventh. Is this the seventh? Seventh episode
Correct.
of the Gochuucast. Today we are going to be talking about everyone's favorite anime genre or subgenre, technically genre, isekai.
At this point, it's practically a genre.
It's basically a genre. It's more like a subcategory of like fantasy, I guess. But
Well, it appears on my anime list, so it has to be a genre, right?
Well, it appears in subgenres.
Oh, does it actually? Okay.
It is-
You know what?
Or like tags, more specifically.
technically, like it's like a shonen is technically a genre, but it's not really.
Yeah.
That's
But
crazy.
I mean, I've watched a lot of good isekai. Well, okay, I've watched some good isekai. I've watched a lot of absolute trash
Watched a lot
isekai
of
as well.
isekai, that's one thing you could say.
I've watched quite a lot. Some good, some bad. But I think before we get too deep into it, we need to determine what an isekai really is. So this is what we were talking about before, Sped. Do you consider SAO to be an isekai?
Isn't that where he goes to they go to a video game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they go into a video game.
He,
but
he logs into a
Yeah,
video game and is trapped for years.
Yes, it's an isekai.
see, I don't think it's an isekai.
Why?
See, when I think isekai, I think like literally a different world. Like
Yeah.
you could like copium your way and say like in Japanese, like isekai is other world. You can like copium and say that technically he's in a video game world. It's not our world. But I
Yes.
feel like
That's not copium.
it's based in our reality.
How?
Well, how do you feel? Because this is a different one to me. SEO is kind of weird because of my stance on this one, but like, how do you feel about Dr. Stone then?
Okay. Anyone who says that is an isekai is like, okay.
I think Dr.
I
Stone might be an isekai.
Oh my god. I understand like the
Oh.
thought process behind it, but
Wait,
it's
I've never
still
seen that anime.
Earth. They are
That's the one where they
Dr. Stone, they're
die,
like petrified.
right?
Yeah,
for
they're trapped in
thousands of
stone for
years.
thousands of years. So it's not this. It's like a
No,
different
it's not an
type of.
isekai.
It's not an isekai. I refuse to call that an isekai.
See,
It's,
I
Wait,
don't
so
know.
how is
I feel
SAO
like
not an
that-
isekai? How
I
is
feel
SAO
like
not an
that's
isekai?
more of an isekai than SAO to me.
I would think
How?
Sao is more. I don't think either isekai, but I think Sao
Wait,
would be
wait,
more of an
okay, hold
isekai.
on. Wait. What? Define another world first.
That's the-
it's
that's like the big
I
issue.
think it should be a completely separate like world, like literal world.
Like a planet.
Yeah,
like a planet.
you think that it should be like
Like-
entirely separate from like our reality or like the
Yeah, it
normal
should
Earth
be-
reality.
It should be completely different from.
Okay, is ReZero an isekai?
Yes, ReZero is an isekai. He is
Why?
transported
ReZero?
because he's
ReZero is
transported to a
isekai.
fantasy world.
Yeah, just
He's
like a video game.
literally transported into another world.
It's not like a video game. A video game is in
the
our
title,
world.
The title literally says "in another world" in the title.
Isekai is in the name. ReZero Kara
Yeah,
like Isekai Sekatsu.
Okay, dude, a McDonald's burger says like 30 fresh ingredients, but it's not fresh, okay? Dude?
What
Okay,
does
what
that
is
have to
that?
do with anything?
No, he's got a good
Okay,
point.
I
Sometimes,
understand. Okay.
sometimes people say things and they're not true. He's got a point.
Okay,
Yes.
but there's a
Okay,
difference
no.
between a corporate burger chain and a title to it.
Yes,
Fucking
no.
like
Dude, Subaru is basically a McDonald's employee. Okay, look, why is a video game not a separate world?
because
Because it's
it's
man-made.
It's artificial based
That's
in
like
our
the
world.
big-
How
yeah,
do you
like,
know
the biggest
that the
explanation
world
I have?
Subaru goes to is not man-made?
No, it is man-made.
Yeah, so it's not isekai.
I know the lore of like ReZero and stuff. It's an
Oh, okay,
isekai.
No spoilers, no spoilers.
I'm not.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like a big spoil. It's not a fucking man-made world. At least like
You sure?
I'm pretty sure, unless Tappe pulls some like
Unless something
big brain shit.
crazy
You
happens.
sure? I don't know, dude. I don't know.
As far as I understand the lore,
Okay,
there
so
is
then,
like
do you know anything about Grimgar?
I know
Similar
Grimgar exists.
topic. Because Grimgar is an isekai, but it's kind of implied that they might be in some sort of like man-made world or like a video game or something. But at least up to the point that I've read, we don't really know what the deal is with the world that they're in.
I feel okay.
Okay.
I feel like, especially like if you know it is a video game, like if you consider Sao to be an isekai, do you
Sure.
consider Bofuri to be an isekai?
No,
That's
because
the
she
same
can just
concept,
freely
right?
love
Same
out.
concept, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still both games. They're both VR
It is
games.
the same
Yeah.
concept.
Just because he
Also,
can't, just because he
Sword
can't,
Art-
and you
Yeah.
eventually they log out of Sword Art Online
he
in
does
Sword Art
log
Online.
out of Sword Art.
They are just in video games. It's not
Wait,
another world.
Okay, wait. Do you consider Harry Potter an isekai?
What? I've never actually
What?
seen Harry Potter, but that sounds stupid.
Wait, that sounded really
No.
dumb, huh?
Question.
No,
No.
I would not consider Harry Potter like.
he just
Okay, 'cause this is the
rides
same
the
world, is that
train.
what you're saying?
He just rides the train to like
Yeah, it's
Wizard's
the same
War,
world.
which
Okay,
is like
fine,
a hidden
fine.
society. Yeah,
Okay,
but
okay,
it's
Like,
still
do you
like,
in the same
consider
world, so it's not isekai.
Wakanda to be an isekai? No, it's on
Yes.
Earth. It's
Dude,
just hidden.
if you move to another country, it's an isekai if you think about it.
okay. So I assume that Log Horizon would also have the same stance as SAO.
Let me read this.
Well, is Log Horizon another world with video game attributes, kind of like Shield
It
Hero,
is,
or is it a literal video game?
Yeah. So Log Horizon is one of those. It's like I think Overlord's like this. They're basically like poofed into the video
Yeah,
game.
it's
as they
not an
play.
isekai. It's not an isekai. I've confirmed.
Yeah,
I'm reading the
like
description.
Overlord, he's in the game, but then like something happens, and he's like in a world where it's not a game, but it's very similar to the game.
Mhm.
That I
Okay,
would
dude.
consider an isekai because it's not the game; it's just a world with the
But
game
how do you know
elements.
that world isn't man-made?
Shut the fuck up! I think this is a dumb.
Dude, I'm just going off the description, bro.
I hate this episode already.
You love it.
I mean, that's kind of.
I know what you're saying, though. I know what
That's
you're
kind
saying.
of where stuff like the Grimgar or the Log Horizon get weird because unlike Sword Art, we don't really know if they're in like the actual game or if they're in another world that is similar to the game or what the deal exactly is. I think Log Horizon is more clear about the fact that like we're in like the video game that you guys used to play.
But it's really difficult whenever they're like, oh, like we got transported into like, because SAO is literally just a game. Like it's not like they got transported into the world that is like the game. Because like, all right,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I see what you're
Shield
saying. I see
Hero
what you're
is like, it's weird.
Shield Hero
Shield Hero is
like
another
a video
world,
game world,
but
Yeah,
it has he has like stats and stuff, but it's not a video game.
Okay, so Sword Art Online, you're literally in the game. Like, actually.
Yeah, SAO is literally the game.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
They are not real people. They are avatars in that game. Just if
They're
they die,
literally in the game.
they died
Yeah,
early.
they're quite literally playing the game.
It's like
And
if
they
you
die, they
if
die in
you
real life.
turn into SpongeBob and we're like in Battle for Bikini
when he's
Bottom.
playing Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, he's like you're
for
like
his
literally
yearly
like
speedrun.
grabbing the shiny objects. Okay, I got you. I get the difference now.
Yes. It like yeah, okay. Okay. I want to go back to
We've
this.
established it.
Dr. Stone is not an isekai. What
No.
makes you think it's more of an isekai than SAO would be?
So the thing to be with Dr. Stone is it's like the difference between the world of the past and the world that he wakes up in is so great because it's nearly 4,000 years of just basically untouched by humans. To me, it's such a big difference that it's like I understand it's physically the same planet, but like from
Okay.
a philosophical standpoint, these are like completely different worlds.
Okay.
Okay,
would
so
you
now-
consider ancient Greece to be an isekai?
Wait, what?
If I walked out of my door right now and ended up in ancient Greece, I think that would be an isekai.
Wait, so okay, hold on. No. I'm not gonna let this fly. This is gonna come on forever. Okay, so is it the world being different, or is it
It should be another world. It shouldn't just be the same world being different.
That's like
Yeah, so
the
how can
line
Dr.
that
Stone be-
I'm.
They're-
That's like
like
the
in
line I'm
Dr.
asking,
Stone,
'cause
they're still
I feel like
they're still in
Dr.
Japan.
Stone- Yeah. I feel like Dr. Stone, the world is so different. I guess the biggest argument I have against it is that he's able to use like historical and geographical information to further the development, which implies that because it is the same world, there's an innate advantage.
Yeah, it's the same. Like he literally uses his knowledge of like the previous world to locate
Okay.
certain things. It is the same world. It is like
Sure.
it looks different because there's trees and stuff everywhere because nature has reclaimed it, but it's still the same world. It is still planet
Yeah.
Earth,
I agree.
and so it's not an isekai. It's the same
I
world.
guess to me, it's less important that it's like physically different, and more important that it's like a different experience. So
Wait, so how is a video game not a different experience from real life?
because it's man-made.
No, 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 no.
Well,
no, no,
if you
no.
want, if you want to argue different experience, I could go from where I live right now to Australia, and there's different animals. There's
Yeah.
different there's different wildlife and landscape.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not an
Traveling
isekai
to a
though.
different country is just isekai.
Yeah, I just
I
went.
don't know.
It's
I don't
like
know, because I'd still say like that's still like tainted by humans, right? Like that's still a human society that has had human influence on it.
Okay, so if you go into an
It's not
uninhabited
like
location,
it's not like
is
you're
that
going to
isekai?
Australia and you're in the wilderness.
so
Yes,
yeah,
so
like
you're
like
just
Spat said,
fighting with
if I
kangaroos
went to some like
and-
random Pacific island that has not been touched
Yeah.
by human hands, then it's an
Yeah, is
isekai.
it an isekai?
Yeah, I'm down.
Dude,
You're
we've
just saying that.
literally
You're
made
just saying that for your
isekai.
point.
No, yeah, dude, you're just saying that to be consistent. Dude, you're dying on this hill.
I think the difference with what you're saying is that you were physically attempting to travel to this like remote island.
So if
in
I
an
if I
attempt
get
to
like
go there,
shipwrecked
as
on
opposed
this
to-
on
yeah,
this
yeah.
thing,
Randomly woke up.
Like,
you're
like,
so
if
you're
you
saying
wake up-
Castaway. Castaway is an isekai.
yes.
Oh my god.
Dude, this is terrible. I'm out. This is great. This is great. I love it.
You're oh my god. No,
He's moving the
Cast-
goalposts, dude.
Castaway is not an isekai.
Honestly,
It's okay
honestly, you
to be
pulled me
wrong.
off from Dr. Stone being an isekai, but it was funny to continue the argument.
Okay, have you guys seen Coming to America, the movie with Eddie Murphy?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh, that's an isekai, but it's with real people. Trust me.
Okay. Anyway, isekai.
Okay, speaking of isekai, actually,
From 1988. Okay.
yes, it was invented in America in 1988. Don't let the anime overlords tell you otherwise. Anyway, speaking of like isekai, there's like a new thing, or I guess it's not a new thing, but it was like, have you guys seen I'm not addressing.
Don't repeat that. Don't repeat what I just said.
Have you guys seen The Devil is a Part Timer?
Okay, Devil is a part-timer is a reverse isekai.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
It's an actual thing.
Because season 2's coming out. I'm going to watch it like before it does. But for right
Good.
now, I have not watched it.
Listen, really, like I would consider Kobayashi to be a reverse isekai.
Ooh, true. Big.
Dude.
No, well, I mean, yeah, he just like starts off in the demon world and goes to the human
Yeah,
world, right?
it's so yeah. People from other worlds outside of our own come to our world, and that's like
Ooh,
the core of what a reverse isekai is.
define our world first. No, I know what you mean. Yes, it's
Yeah.
it's a reverse.
And it's like
It's
Devil is
like
a
a
part
isekai.
timer. He's like a demon. He's like a demon lord or whatever in his other world, and he escapes to Earth, and then
Are there any
becomes
other
a
reverse
McDonald's worker.
Yeah, there are other reverse isekais. Great Jahi recently came out. I think I want to say it was 2021. Maybe it's 2020. But that's like another like demon lord gets sent to our world or whatever.
Okay.
That's
I-
like the most common reverse isekai. Is demon lord is placed in normal world.
I'm pretty sure there are more. Hold on.
Kobayashi is a reverse isekai. It's kind of a weird one to use as an example, especially because they can still travel back to like the dragon world and stuff.
Fuck even are
Gotcha.
some of these.
I know I'm looking at I'm looking at the tags and Wonder Egg priorities here, and I've never seen Wonder Egg, but it's never struck me as an isekai. In any
Wonder
way.
Egg is not an isekai. No. That it's okay. Wonder Egg is very weird, but what they do, I would not consider isekai in any like capacity. Let's move on to something that we know is isekai. What are your all's favorite guaranteed to be non-controversial isekai?
In another world with my smartphone.
Wait, I thought that anime was, like,
Unironically?
something bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. Or supposed to be.
I
I've never seen
love In Another World with my smartphone, but I think it's timing. I watched this like very early. Like I would argue this is the first isekai I watched, especially if you don't count Sword Art.
I don't know what would be my first. ReZero might have been my first. I don't remember. It's
I
like
think ReZero is my first. And my only. No, it's not.
ReZero was early for me.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know.
I think
I mean, I've
it'd
talked about
be
Bookworm
my
previously.
first and my favorite, probably.
We call Fates reverse isekais. They kind of are.
I refuse. I haven't watched Fate, but I refuse to call it an isekai, despite not having seen any of it.
Well, it's definitely not an isekai, but there's like an argument it could be a reverse isekai. Because they like summon the spirits into the world. But the weird thing
Okay,
is
that's
the
like-
spirits
do they
aren't
have their
coming
own world?
from like yeah. So the spirits aren't coming from another world. The spirits are like manifestations of like heroic people from Earth's past. So like imagine
I
like, you're
refuse to call that an
summoning.
isekai then.
Yeah, imagine you're summoning like Hercules to fight for you.
Yeah, it's like my ancient Greece argument or whatever. Like, if I were to summon, like, at that point, Kong Ming, your boy Kong Ming is an isekai at that point. If you,
It is. It's a reverse isekai.
it's not an isekai. He's just in the future now.
He has been poofed
Ooh,
into
it's time traveling
a world
isekai.
that's
Big.
yeah, it is time travel.
It's
I
ti-
guess
it's
if you,
like reincarnation. It's not an isekai though. He gets plopped into the modern age, but it's not a
Yep.
different world. To him, it may seem different,
to
I
him
guess.
it's a different world,
But
but that's where
he
like
comes
my
to know
argument.
it's the same world.
Yeah, that's where like my argument is weird because to me it's like it feels like it's an isekai, but I guess by like technicality I understand why you say
Yes.
it's not.
We're very technical. We're very technical. It's very important that you stick to the definitions.
This has been a much more controversial episode than I anticipated.
Really, I anticipated this to be really controversial.
I knew you were going to go into the definition, you know.
I
Why
thought
is
maybe
Inuyasha
someone would. I think Inuyasha is technically an isekai, right? It literally.
I
is
don't
the
know.
one,
I don't remember anything about Inuyasha. It was just on Toonami. That's like the majority. of
Dude,
what I
yeah,
know
same.
about
I remember that. I remember
I've
that.
never
I don't
watched it,
remember
but
anything from
I'm
it.
pretty sure it is
Boomer show.
literally an isekai.
Boomer show.
Oh,
I just remember
another example of reverse isekais is Recreators.
I have not seen Recreators.
I have not seen that.
So Recreators
mentioned this
is
before.
like Fate, but instead of summoning spirits from like Earth's history, they just summon like characters from video games and manga and shit like that. Like quite literally.
What's your favorite isekai, Spatula?
I mean, ReZero off the top of my head, or if you count, if you count the reverse isekai, then it has to be The Devil is a Part-Time. I really like that show.
I would call
So
it
the
like
show is-
reverse isekai is still isekai.
Yeah, so I'd say that's my favorite. It's like I never laugh at anime, but it's like it got a couple nose snorts out of me. That's an accomplishment.
Couple air puffs.
Nose snort? I don't know what the word is. Air blown out of the nose. So there you go. I actually really like that show, and I'm looking forward to the sequel whenever that comes out. I don't even know when it comes out. Season 2, not sequel, whatever.
If I were
Yeah.
to choose something different from ReZero,
I mean, Tetsura is right
I have
there.
I have a bit of a bias because I've read a considerable amount of ReZero content. So if I were to choose
You're a
something
big
other
ReZero
than that, I mean, Mushoku Tensei, I think it'll get there. I rate it very highly, but
I think the first like section of Basoku was good enough that I'll continue, but I want more for me to really like rate it.
I think Rudius is going in the right direction, but where he is like right now. Like I thought the last episode was like a good finale and like set up for where his character is gonna try to go. But I need more from him growth wise. Because he's kind of a dumbass. Like consistently. Oh, he'll do like a smart thing, but then he'll do something really dumb. Like I think like Turning Point 2, totally avoidable, but he couldn't keep his mouth shut. I believe he made it that far.
I really liked I've been killing slimes for 300 years. I don't know that the short name of
haven't
this
seen
is.
that.
Slime 300.
Like it's just Slime 300 is
Yeah.
what most people call. I really like this. This is like a cute, like more slice of lifey isekai. Like she doesn't really have too much of a purpose other than she gets isekai'd into this world and she just kills slimes every day for 300 years until she's accidentally broken overpowered.
Yeah, that's based.
I feel like a lot of isekai have, because there's another one. It was like By the Grace of the Gods or whatever. I didn't watch it because it sounded like trash, but I think it is like a similar concept to Slime 300. I didn't watch it though. Speaking of slime, as Tensura is like something a lot of people hold in high regards.
Tensura's good. I like Tensura. Tensura for me came at like a weird time where I watched all of the first season and then around when the first season finished, I got really busy. Didn't get to the second season or any of like the rest of it, and I've only recently started kind of catching up on it.
I think it's fun. I don't, at least for right now. Maybe like the novels are better or whatever. I don't think it's anything better than just I have fun watching it. It's definitely got some good moments though. As far as okay, I'm looking at Princess Connect, and do we count this as an isekai?
Isn't that a
Yes.
game?
It's
No. It's the
it's
if you want the
complicated.
actual
It's so
lore.
it's
Yeah.
complicated.
So
Original source. Looking for original source.
the original Princess Connect was a game that they all played. However,
Knew it.
Princess Connect Redive at the end of OG Princess Connect, spoilers, they failed to like save things, and the game was recreated as like the actual world, and most people forgot their memories. I think everyone forgot their memories.
So the
kinda
source
like-
material is still a game.
So it is an artificial world created off the base of a game, but it is an actual like magically created world.
Okay, dude.
So it's imagine Sword Art, like PP poofed everyone and said, okay, Aincrad is no longer a game. Now
Okay.
we've snapped our fingers, magically created the actual Sword Art world,
Gotcha.
kidnapped your consciousnesses and tossed you in there and got rid of all of your memories of the real world.
Right.
Except for some people who do have memories.
Yeah, some people have some memories, but it's like on a macro scale. It's mostly just like Princess Connect's in a weird territory though in that way because it is a game, but it's also no longer a game at this point.
It's complicated. It's like so borderline because spoilers again. At one point in the story in the game, at least as far as I've played, you can go back to the real world. It's just complicated when you do. Okay. I'm not even going to bother to go in this, but I would like to say Princess Connect Season 2 is very good. If we're going to count as an Isekai.
I think it counts.
Season 2 is very good.
But I also am the one who said that Dr. Stone's Isekai, so based on that, I'm not really allowed to say Princess Connect doesn't count.
Princess Connect is a more delicate situation, which is hard to argue against. Yeah.
No. But it was like the original thing was actually like the gacha game that you guys play, right?
Well, okay, so Princess Connect is like a previous iteration of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Anyway,
think it's important for you or like fun for you in when you're watching Isekai to have like connections to the like original world that they were part of, or like see the moment that they died or were transported or things? Because it's like a mixed bag. Some shows will show like when they get transported or how they died or that type of stuff. Some shows won't. And some shows will like take you back to the real world, and some shows will just be like, "This is your new life. Have fun."
it depends on what it's okay. I think that if you're going to have an isekai, you should have the real world and the isekai should be like part of your story in some capacity. Like, so how most authors use isekai, one, it's just popular now to just have an isekai, but it's like before it was like a fucking oversaturated genre that is literally everywhere. It was just a writing tool. So what isekai does is so when you have a fantasy world, right, you have to do a lot of explanation because nobody knows anything about your world. And so in order to not have your story seem as like expedition like dump, you dump a person who doesn't know anything about that world. Maybe they lost their memories or something like that, or maybe they are isekai'd from Earth into this fantasy world. And so you're able to have a more fluid explanation. Like, you can tell that character things about your world to teach the reader about your world without having it seem exposition dump. So like they get there and you're like, oh, this is the Adventurers Guild or whatever. Instead of having to like explain what that is, everyone just kind of knows.
Yeah, it gives them like an automatic way to do all of the background exposition.
It's just an easy way to start your story, but it's become like oversaturated to the point where they'll use it specifically. It's just lazy at this point. Like, they only use it for the writing tool instead of like, there are some that will use it, like ReZero and Mushoku are things that they don't forget about the real world aspects because it's integral to the character.
I would say to me that like separates those two in my mind from like a Tensura, which I think Tensura is still really good, but to the point that I've watched Tensura, like the real world or like the previous life and everything don't matter. Like
His
nothing about them
previous
has
life
really
definitely
come up.
hasn't mattered. Like they kind of use like he was a contractor, and so now he knows knows all these things, so he can build his city or whatever. At the very least, the real world is like tied into the lore of Tensura,
Yeah,
and
that is
so
also
I can
true.
I can respect that. Well, a lot of shows kind of do that sometimes just to like have it, but I feel like it's definitely better when it's there for like a good reason. Like I can't think of like Ari Ferretta, for example, probably the lowest rated isekai I have. Yeah, it is.
Wow.
So Ari Ferretta is just like your average like harem power fantasy.
Let's go.
And the goal is to get back to the real world. But other than that, it doesn't like it doesn't play any role. They're just isekai to like be in a fantasy world, so you can live out this power fantasy. It doesn't have much of a role otherwise. Same with like Mondaji Tachi or like Problem Children, as some people might know it. A lot of people like praise it. I think it's trash, but basically it's like No Game No Life kind of. Like they get transported to a world where like games are like the most important. I think they came out around the same time. Both 2013, I believe. Actually, No Game No Life might have been 2014. But like the real world has basically no, at least as far as I've watched and know about the series, has no like consequence. Like they just go to this world and now they're there. And it doesn't really matter their previous lives or anything. Just kind of like forget about it.
I guess it's another weird thing to me about like I've talked about it a lot, but Bookworm doesn't seem to. I have not caught up on season 3, so I don't know if that has changed, but it doesn't seem to really have anything that matters with the original world other than she just knows everything and therefore is able to like transpose that from the previous world to this world.
I mean, a little in season 2, they kind of think about it. It hasn't been like too integral to her character.
Yeah,
though.
it comes up. It's like a thought. Clearly, they're not fully ignoring it, but it's also like
it's
not
more than most
important.
isekai do.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not like too important. One isekai that's a little interesting. It's not that great of a show, but Outbreak Company. So what it is?
Outbreak Company. What is that?
So basically, it's a weird kind of isekai. So the Japanese government, right? They discover a portal to another world, so they can travel between these worlds.
Oh, let's go.
So what they do is they get this absolute fucking nerd, and they have him export Japanese weeb culture to this other world.
Okay.
And so
To that world.
he gets it to the point where he basically weakens the world, and the Japanese government tries to take it over after he like moifies the entire world. Like they have
Yo,
It's kind of funny.
this is base. This looks base. This is like actually cool. Like I don't know, cool. It's a unique. It's a unique concept. I like that.
it was something. It wasn't like
It was something.
it was entertaining enough to watch. I can't say it's that good, but like the going back and forth concept isn't something a lot of isekai have.
Okay, can I address something, or can we address something? What is
We
with like isekais and like people having like weird long names? Like whenever I look up like on my anime list like isekai, like half the people
show
are like
name. Yeah.
No, not the show
the
name. The
people?
character names. The character names are like some bastardized like German or something. They're just like really long for no reason. You know what I
Are
mean?
they that?
Can you give an example?
Yeah, dude. Okay, I'm looking at Outbreak Company. Okay,
Yeah,
this
I see
person's
the name
name is
you're talking
Petralka and El Dante the Third. What is this? This is not a name,
Hold on, let me
dude. I'm not lying to you.
let me find
To
Outbreak
me,
Company
it's-
real quick.
To me, it's like,
Okay,
I don't know. I don't feel like that's just an isekai.
It's
thing. I feel like
fine.
that's just all
I feel
it-
like if they're from the other
Fantasy
world, then
name.
if they're from another world, it doesn't matter. It's like it's not like the Japanese character has like some insane ass name.
Dude, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like
No, you're right. I'm just like thinking. I feel like I've seen better examples of it, but like there's just some that are just like. It's not
well,
names.
it's kind of
I
like
guess it's like part of the.
if you were to say your full name to someone, I'm sure like you go. That's why we don't say full names. So we say like first and last. Like most, no one says their full name because that's long. And then like there might be titles as well. Like, okay, this is completely off topic. I made the best purchase of my life recently.
Okay.
I
Copium.
I am now officially a lord of 1 acre, or not 1 acre, 1 square foot of land in Scotland. I am technically
Why did you do this?
I am technically Lord Daniel right now.
Okay, dude, relax.
But
But
why?
so I was listening to a podcast and I heard an advertisement for it. I'm like, that sounds so stupid, but I'd love to do that. And I was thinking of a Father's Day gift for my dad, and this website was having a buy one get one free.
Oh, okay. So you got your dad one.
I got my dad lordship in Scotland, but I also got myself lordship in Scotland.
How much did that cost?
It was like $50.
That's not
That's
bad.
it? Yo, I'm trying to do this too.
Yeah, $50. You can own 1 square foot of land in Scotland and be a lord of it. It's like it's mainly like it's like a forest conservation. God,
Gotcha.
I mean, it's
Okay,
definitely less than like the amount I had to pay for my degrees, which give me more letters.
I know
To
why.
add to
Why would
my
I
name?
pay like $100,000 to be a doctor when I could be a fucking lord? That sounds so much cooler.
Why not be both?
Lord Doctor
you
Dan.
Dr. Lord.
Definitely not a disgruntled PhD student right here. Let's go.
Let's go.
He's like, fuck, I spent all this time to get this title, and this motherfucker paid 50,
When I could have just paid 50 bucks and become a
to
lord.
Yeah,
Yo,
but-
if you go there, it's like an isekai, if you think about it.
Oh yeah, that is actually true. If you go to your
It's a
1 acre
random
of
no, if I
land,
go
the
to my
forest.
wedding, it's not a fucking isekai. If I go to Scotland,
Scotland,
we're not going back to
Scotland,
this.
Aberdeen.
But yeah,
do you think it's more fun when you watch something like Isekai if it is a video game world as compared to just a normal fantasy world? Because I
okay.
love video gamifying.
Oh my gosh, I hate it. I
Isekais.
couldn't watch Sword Art Online because of that.
I'm like mixed bag. I feel like it's kind of weird. Like Shield Hero is an alright isekai. Like season 1
I
is
feel like
decent.
Shield
season
Hero
2's been
does
kinda
the
trash.
video game thing really well.
I think it
But
does
there's
it.
a lot
I
of
think it
other
goes
stuff it
too
doesn't
hard
do
with it.
well.
Like
That is fair.
it's like they're not in the video game world, but everything is a video game basically. He's got stats. He's got like like set a party, fast travel.
See, I like
all this
stuff
other
like
stuff.
that. Yeah.
At that point,
Like,
just
that
have
was
like
one of the-
a game though. At that point, why do
Because
you?
that's one of the things that it's not really an isekai, but that's one of the things that made me like Bofuri a lot. Is just like the video game stuff in it.
Well,
was
yeah,
fun.
but Bofuri is just like it's literally
Or even, like,
it's not an
Log Horizon.
isekai. There's no stakes to Bofuri. Bofuri is just fun. It's just friends dicking around in a game. Whereas like Shield Hero is like a literal fantasy world with there's stakes and stuff. I just feel like I don't know. Speaking of isekai with like it's not a video game, but isekai where they use their like knowledge and stuff. We talked about Bookworm. This isekai is kind of trash, but it's World's Finest Assassin. Banger
Yeah.
opening and ED.
like-
Questionable material, but
It's like weird how he uses his knowledge.
okay.
Like,
The magic,
Oh,
the
this
magic
one,
system
this
in
one.
this anime is bullshit.
Like, you think the entire episode where he like went through the process of brainwashing, I was like, okay, this is a little uncomfortable. But
Okay, so I was more fine with that than I was him creating a nuke with magic and dropping it from orbit.
yeah, that is true.
I feel like the episodes where he took his time to like train his like new body or whatever to become an assassin was cool, but then you had him drop shit from orbit. Like no assassin drops a bomb from orbit. It's just
I mean,
don't
did
know.
everyone die?
One guy died.
Sounds like a job well done if that was his target.
Your assassins are just if they took the concept of assassin and turned it into like warlord. I don't know. Assassins are just supposed to be like, the sneaky type, but he dropped a fucking bomb from orbit and created a crater that probably should have like destroyed more of the area than it did. I guess spoilers, but like if you haven't watched this shit by now, you probably were never going to.
Probably really shouldn't. Of the shows we've named so far, this one's got to be in the bottom half.
It's just
World's
I'm not
Finest
saying it's
Assassin,
the
I
worst.
feel-
It's definitely
I-
not the worst, but like it's got to be bottom half.
I swear I've seen this on like YouTube and stuff, but yeah.
It has some fun moments. It's like different, but I don't know if that different is good per se.
no, it's different, all right. Try to. Okay.
We really haven't talked about it, but Konosuba. It's just
okay,
like Konosuba's
I
hard
only
to
saw
talk
a
about.
movie. I saw a
Yeah.
movie.
Konosuba is
Konosuba's
like
hard to talk about because it's kind
the-
of like the
it's a-
poster child.
it's like a parody of isekai, I guess.
Yeah.
And is the best way to put it. And then yeah, I would say it's a parody. It kind of like subverts the expectation of like a power fantasy. Like ReZero does that as well, but Konosuba does it, in like a
Konosuba just,
comedic
like
way.
actually does it. ReZero does it in a way where it's like it doesn't like go back on it or anything, but ReZero is still like we have a story to tell and we need to like be progressing. Whereas the Konosuba does it in a way where it's like
Konosuba just kind of happens.
we're just fucking around, you know?
I just-
no,
I'm just
go
trying
ahead.
to think like what or remember from that the movie that I saw because I remember I watched the movie
Did you
and then I
watch the
think I watched.
Crimson Demon movie?
Let me check. I for sure I saw it with like SCB and Nora.
Okay, did you not watch season 1 or 2 though?
I watched like 3 episodes of season 1. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. Though.
he,
I mean,
So
he
you
watched
watched 3
the
episodes
movie.
and then you went to the movie.
Yeah.
No, I went to the movie first, and then
Why?
And then
I
Did you
I
watch
didn't
the
go.
movie first?
they were watching, so I want
they're
to know why.
definitely
So I
just
watched.
watching
I
it
didn't
in a
enjoy it.
server. Yeah.
Well, no shit, you didn't enjoy it. I bet you had no idea what was happening.
You're right. I mean, to be honest, I don't like that style of humor, so that's like my personal thing.
It's
so I probably would have
That
enjoyed it.
is
Really
true. I'm not the
slapstick.
biggest on Konosuba. Like I, don't
think
think it's bad. I'll watch it.
it depends.
I'll continue
Some
watching
moments
it,
hit
but-
for me and some don't. Like I think Darkness just gets like stale pretty quickly. Like with their like
It's
masochist.
the booba.
Like they all kind of get
like,
stale. They all have like
BDSM
the.
girl, right?
It's not that they're one-dimensional characters. It's they have one gag, and it's
True.
the same gag every time.
I feel like Cosmo is like the only one who like breaks free of that specifically. Like I feel like he doesn't enough to be different. But yeah, Aqua is like a crybaby. Megumin explodes shit, and Darkness is like a masochist. I still enjoy it, but like, it's definitely not like I don't view it in the same light as other people. I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like I like I said, I enjoyed it enough that I'll keep watching it, but I can't in good conscience be like, this is that good shit, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. I just think it's supposed to be funny, but it's just like I don't know. I just can't laugh at anime. I don't know if I think I just have like a narrow like scope of like humor, but I just cannot.
You're
But
just,
I can see why people like
you're
it.
just mad that you're not a Lord of Scotland.
Uh,
So
Talk to you about that in a day. We'll see about that
you're gonna become a Lord of Scotland.
Yeah,
tonight.
aren't we all gonna become lords tonight?
I'll send you the link after this.
Let's go, dude.
So an interesting one, Isekai Quartet, like a double Isekai, basically.
Yeah, Isekai Quartet. I was gonna ask, do they Isekai then into like the Quartet world?
So what happens is they're all in like their own worlds, right? And then
Yeah.
randomly, it's just a red fucking button appears, and
it
so
just poofs them.
so like in Konosuba's case, this button appears like we should not press this, but after they're the Konosuba characters, so somebody presses it, and they all get transported to the world. And like Overlord, like they were just kind of existing, and Irons goes to like sit down on his throne, and the button appears, and he sits on it. So yeah, all this button appears to all of them, and they all press it, and they get sent to like a school world, and they have to like go through class and stuff.
Oh wait, there's class involved. Is this just the anime that's Batman, but there's no.
That's
L
what I was gonna
involved?
say. That's what I was gonna say.
No, so
They still
I don't even
yeah,
know.
that's crazy.
There's the movie came out recently. Obviously I can't watch it because it's in Japan, but like
Don't just go to
so
Japan.
they just like go to Japan, watch the movie, have no idea what's happening. You know what pissed me off about the movie actually? There's some like really important ReZero lore, not like Isekai Quartet stuff. Literally ReZero
like
lore
actual
that we have not known about. That this motherfucker Tappy
Real.
Nagatsuki, the author of ReZero, put into like a pamphlet that you can get when you go see the movie in Japan. I mean, this is like I'm like,
This is, like, big
why are you
lore.
kidding me?
Yeah.
This is like lore that everyone has speculated for a long time that we don't have much information on. That he just kind of like a character that we have yet to meet, we know of exists in ReZero lore, but we haven't met him or heard anything about him. Exists in Isekai Quartet. and that's our first look at him. Everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Anyway, rant
That's
over.
kind of funny.
I mean, it's funny, but like, it's just so. I don't know. ReZero has too much lore that isn't in like the base, like ReZero, so it makes it really hard to like always know what's
Spread
going on.
out. Dude, just go to Japan. Literally go to Japan.
Once our podcast is big enough, we can go to Japan. All of us.
Let's go, dude.
Japan office.
Japan office.
Office.
I
oh
didn't
my
really
God.
think about it, and we kind of didn't talk about it too much last week. But kind of like one of the original isekais, I guess all of us would have watched. I don't know if you guys watch it, but Digimon.
Yes.
I have
Yes,
If it
never.
isn't
course.
isekai,
I've never touched
Digimon's
Digimon.
weird. Digimon's
Technically.
weird because they get sent to like what is quote the digital world, which is technically. I don't think it's a man-made world, but it's like weird. Like I don't think anyone, unless you're really deep in Digimon lore, fully understands what like the digital world is within the Digimon universe. But yeah, like the original Digimon, these kids just get like poofed into the Digimon world, and they all like kind of just show up with their starter Digimon. Really, the only Digimon anyone has. I don't think in the original anyone gets like multiple Digimon or anything, and then they just adventure through the world, and eventually their Digimon, get stronger. It can fight stronger enemies, etc., etc.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know quite anything.
I mean,
about
it's
Digimon.
still I mean, yeah, I would still call it an isekai. The problem is I just don't remember that much from watching it, but
I recently they released a new Digimon Adventures anime 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like a
They had a new-
retelling of it.
yeah,
It
they
was
have a new
also,
video game
like-
too.
Yeah,
Video games are supposedly really good. But yeah.
the video games are great. It was also like a kind of a newer, more modern version of the Digimon adventure story. I think this one
Right.
was more specifically connected to like the internet and actual like terms and things that exist in our world, whereas in the original Digimon adventures, they just kind of got poofed into the mysterious digital world.
Right.
Yeah. A reverse isekai that we didn't mention actually. It's on Spat's top 10 list. Amagi Brilliant Park. I'm pretty sure is a
I was going to
reverse
mention that, but I
isekai.
didn't think it was a. No, it's not an isekai. It's not an isekai. It's not an isekai.
Are they?
Because,
Why is it not?
well, technically,
What of
Because-
this lore am I not understanding about Amagi Brilliant Park?
I guess the people from like the park, they like came from a different world technically to like.
Not
They
even
come from-
they literally came from another world, like escape
yeah,
to escape
yeah,
the
I guess.
magic guy. I'm pretty sure.
Like
Right.
if Recreators is a reverse isekai, then this sounds like a reverse isekai to me.
Yeah, I guess technically, sure. I mean, it's just like not. It's like different because it's not from the perspective of the main, or like the main character is not the one doing that. But yeah, you're technically yeah, sure. You're right. You're right.
For
you're
them, it is a reverse isekai.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think a reverse isekai could be either the main or a large.
As long
series
as
of side
somebody is being
characters.
reverse isekai.
Yeah. Like Kobayashi, the main character is not reverse isekai, but like every other important character is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. The thing is, the part about like Amagi Brilliant Park, which is like, okay, it is a reverse isekai, but I still think like the biggest it's just like it doesn't incorporate like I don't know, I don't want to say it doesn't incorporate that many fantasy elements, but I guess it's just different because
The
of
focus
perspective of the main
isn't the
character.
isekai, but it does exist.
Yeah, it's the main character. So I guess it's like how he deals with those kinds of things.
Yeah,
the
it's
quirks
like
of,
not important that those characters are isekai.
Well, yeah, it's like
but
it's
they,
like their story
are.
is
Yeah,
important,
yeah.
but their features. I mean, there's some. Yeah, it's just not like as overt, I guess, as like other kind of isekais. Yeah. 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 No, I know what you mean, but yeah. Yeah, I'd say yeah. You can call it a reverse isekai. Sure.
So if we all agree that like Sword Art is not an isekai
Oh my
at the
god.
beginning, then
I'm
Daniel,
so mad
do
at
we
you.
think that
Alicization is not. No, that is an artificial
Okay,
Never
world.
seen it.
Those are literally. That's not even real people in there. It's like AI.
like super AI NPC? I just
Yeah,
wanted
it's just-
to bring it up
yeah,
because
I will
Alicization I
not-
feel like is a little closer.
It's closer than SAO
Especially
is.
given how like Moon Cradle goes
Yeah,
and all that type of stuff.
it's closer to like actual isekai than Aincrad arc stuff is, but I still refuse to call it an isekai. Because
Yeah, that's
like
fair. I respect that.
yeah, because I mean, while technically they like think it's another world, but it's just like a computer simulation or whatever, and they have like it's not even like a big world. They're like literally like a Minecraft world. Not even they're in an Xbox Minecraft world. They have borders that they just haven't reached yet. So I
They just
wouldn't.
don't like understand also that they are borders, so to speak.
Yeah, they are digitalized. It's not even like a like other like real people in the world. It's just all digital. It's like the same concept of like the Aincrad stuff. They're all just avatars. It's not like they actually got transported to a new world or anything. Uh,
Yeah,
one
so-
interesting like look at isekai kind of would be like Cautious Hero, where we get like the god's perspective of like choosing the person who gets isekai'd. Uh, and then they have to go save a world or whatever.
Mhm.
I thought that was like an interesting perspective. I didn't think the show was that great or anything. It was alright. Could be funny sometimes, but
It's
Dude.
kind of like a fun because a lot of times isekais, especially the more generic isekais, will have like random goddess character who's just like you've been chosen to go kill the demon lord, and that's like the end of the the goddess character. At least at the beginning, maybe near the end, a lot of those will like make that person into a character. But
yeah, it's like a fresher take on isekai, I guess. Um, one isekai I like the premise of, but I don't really care much for like the actual show itself. No Game, No Life. Um, I like the idea. I like how the story is like structured. I'm not too big fan of like the characters or anything. I'm like in the camp that thought the what's it called, the anime was kind of mid, but the movie was really good. I think there's a lot of people who think the opposite, but
see, I watched like 3 episodes of No Game No Life at most, so I don't know too much about it. The
so
opening premise, yeah, that was an isekai. That's fair.
yeah, well, not even like it is an isekai, but like I think the
Yeah.
premise is interesting, where it's like, um, it at the very least, fuck, how I think the story idea is interesting. I don't think the isekai is like the most important part about it. Like, I think you
I
could
just
take
didn't really
in.
care for the characters, to be honest.
I thought the movie did a better job with like characters and world lore and stuff, which like I really like the movie. Um,
Mhm.
I didn't care much for the characters or anything in No Game No Life, and I felt like the character writing was like really contrived. I guess it maybe it's better in the novels where there's more detail and stuff, but I felt like any character growth that happened wasn't earned. In No Game No Life, there's like obviously the two main people. What's his name? Sora? No, hold on. Let me find No Game No
Yeah,
Life
it
here.
is Sora. There's
Yeah,
Sora and Shiro.
Yeah, Sora and Shiro. They're kind of like they're absolute dicks to Stephanie like the entire time, which is like their third companion or whatever.
Okay.
But then just every now and then they'll be nice to her. It's like, oh, see, they care for her, and I just don't feel like any of those moments are earned. But
I heard the main character of No Game Life No Life is like a genius. Is that true?
They're
they're
both
like
geniuses.
they're like anime.
But they're also
they're
like
anime
they're
smart.
like anime geniuses.
Anime smart.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
so they
like
can
the anime
solve-
smart. Like, oh yes, I saw this coming like from
Yeah.
20 light years away.
It's like
Whoa.
it's like
Yes.
the early stages of Death Note where it's they act super smart and it's just obnoxious and kind of annoying.
Okay, I got you. I got you. They solved the obscure survival game, but they can't do 2+3 or whatever. I got you.
Yeah, but so
Yeah.
like the premise of No Game No Life is like you can become a god of the world, but you have to the way the movie like explains it pretty decently, and if you watched all of it, it's easy to conceptualize, but basically the world can have like it can change gods basically depending
Okay.
on some circumstances, and the current circumstance based on how the movie ended, which was like a prequel, you have to collect. So there's a bunch of different races that all have like a chess piece attached to them basically, so you have like an entire chessboard worth of races, and you have to collect what are called like race pieces, and that gives you like dominion over those races, I think. But you can take all those pieces and you can challenge God to a game of chess, and that would like let you become God. But
Why
like,
chess? Is that like
Why
delved
chess?
into more? Or is it just
So-
like chess is just the chosen game by God?
so in the movie, It's kind of like how their world came to be about. No Game No Life is like it's a world where games kind of like decide everything, and you can't kill anyone. There's no war or anything. There's no
And
like
conflicts
there's
have to be
no
solved through a game.
conflicts
Yeah.
have to be solved through games. Yeah, because of how the movie was, and so this like god of games is the one who like takes over the world basically due to the events of the movie, and so he just likes chess, I guess. But I think it's like collecting all the pieces through games and stuff, and then challenging God in the end. I think it's like an interesting story at the very least, even if I don't think the character writing's that strong.
It was interesting, but I didn't feel super captured by the first few episodes. But the first few episodes was also weird because they had like they go to the world and then they immediately run into the like cheating plot line, with some random characters where they're basically like, you know, it's encouraged to cheat in this world, but don't get caught.
Yeah, like,
which is like fine, but
yeah.
it's like that was a weird plot line I felt like to start with.
I think because they
it
had
makes
to like
sense
put him
based
in
on the
power.
characters.
to move
Yeah,
forward
it
with
makes
the
sense
plot.
based on the characters and how they're like going to move forward and all that. But it was a weird one, and then you get to like the Stephanie stuff in that same kind of general plot line.
I felt like it was more monkey brain entertainment than it was anything else. Like if you're looking
that's
for
true.
like a complete like piece of complete like work of literature, I guess you're not gonna find it. It'll be like generally fun and kind of like zany, but other than that, like it's not a deep show.
I mean, are isekai supposed to be deep shows? Are any shows supposed to be
It
deep?
depends on the show. Like Mushoku and
deep.
ReZero are like both extremely
Sure, I
heavy
guess,
on like
yes.
the world and
You're-
characters and stuff.
you're right.
And so it just depends on how you want to do your isekai, I guess.
Right. It's a blank canvas.
I think it's not
Sort of.
important if like you make a definitive decision too.
Yeah, like I don't know, because like where isekai is now, like obviously we're at the point where like obviously not every single one is going to be like too story intensive or anything. Like there's so many of like the same kind of isekai. Like mentioned it before on some episode of the podcast, but Skeleton Knight is literally just fucking Overlord, except not Overlord. So there's like such a lack of creativity, I feel, at this point, to where somehow you got to find something creative to use, and so you can't just always be like the heavy isekai. Maybe you have to be the lighter hearted one.
Wait, Skeleton Knight. Dude, the main character of this guy is in One Piece.
I have not seen One Piece. Picking the One Piece resident,
wait.
the resident One
Literally
Piece
what?
watcher
Let me
confirmed.
go look. Let me go look at what you're talking about because I don't know.
Dude,
I watched episode 1 of Skeleton Knight and I don't know what you're talking about.
guy's in One Piece. You dude.
In another world.
No, dude, I'm right.
I can just looking at him, he does not seem very One Piece like.
Dude, there's a One Piece character that looks exactly like him.
I feel like this is
Are
something.
you talking about the skeleton and you're comparing him to Brooke? He looks nothing
Yes.
like Brooke. He's just a skull.
Bro, they're both
The only
skeletons.
similarity is that they're skeletons.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to side with PK on this one. This guy is a skeleton.
That's crazy.
Brooke is a skeleton
Brooke
with
has
an afro, and
yeah.
this guy's just a skeleton.
He's bald.
Bro, this guy, that's crazy.
That's like comparing.
He can wear a wig. He can wear a wig.
That's like saying spooky, scary skeletons is the same thing as the One Piece. No, they're not.
Are they? Bro.
I mean, you don't know that. You haven't seen the end of One Piece. They could be the same.
That'll be quite the fucking twist if spooky, scary
One
skeletons.
Piece. That's the end, bro. Oh
Are
my
there any
gosh.
good isekais coming out soon? I mean, the answer is always no, because all
the
these
answer
guys
is
are kind of
always
bad. But
no. Yeah,
I know
Bookworm
that
just
there's
ended,
this
so no.
one. There's this one that I've been seeing that has a lot of popularity. So obviously, there's a new season of Overlord.
Yeah,
which-
there's also a new season of Part Timer as well.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yes, let's go.
So those are coming out. There's also
next
like
season?
this random like another slime anime, but this one he has like 1 million slimes.
Oh no, not 1 million.
I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. I just know that this is
Classic.
one that's like pretty
Summer 2022.
popular, coming in next season.
Let's go.
Let me look on live chart just to see what else is coming
Call
out.
of the Night.
I don't see
Yo,
anything else
feels
that
crazy.
I guess I could
No,
do.
It,
Right.
For the summer, I think the main ones are just gonna be like Overlord and
I mean, Part
what's it
Timer
called?
and Overlord are like the big money.
Oh wait. There's called Isekai. Oh yeah, let me find the name.
Isekai
Make you
to
the
harem.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Harem,
Your
Harem
words.
in the Labyrinth of Another World. So
Yo,
I have not
hey,
heard much
dude.
about this. Mars has said that it is horny and kind of based,
This
and that
title
is about
sounds
all I
horny.
know about it.
Oh, there's a okay. The fucking art for this looks terrifying. The Uncle Isekai or whatever Isekai
Yeah,
Uncle, that looks absolutely demonic. I'm not gonna be watching that one.
I mean, I assume this is just like one side is like a real world and one side is like the Isekai world or something
No,
like
so
that on the art.
Uncle Isekai is about a dude who gets isekai'd, right? But then he comes back from the isekai.
Oh no! So okay,
I think that's
Okay.
what it is. I'm pretty sure
something
that's what
along
it is.
those lines.
Yeah.
That's about it. There's a few other random ones on here, but I don't even see enough on them to talk about.
Oh, yeah,
This drifting home thing looks cute
There's
in the
another
sense that it's
isekai
like it makes me
pharmacy.
think of like Lull in the Sea, Lull in the Sea, and like that type of thing. That's just like something nice to watch for an hour or whatever the runtime is.
Yeah. There's another pharmacy isekai, though that's apparently the thing that keeps happening.
Isekai.
Pharmacy.
Why though? Why?
Yeah,
why
well,
is
we already
pharmacy?
had drugstore, now we have a pharmacy or whatever.
Yeah, so we have pharmacy and slimes. Those are two current trends.
And then looking at the end of the year, Ari Froda gets an OVA in fall.
Are you excited for that?
No, not really. Maybe it'll have some good music that comes along with it. That's all I watch for at this point.
It's like Tensura movie.
Yeah, Tensura movie comes at some point. It doesn't really
The
look
second
like
second
anything.
progressive movie comes out for Sword Art.
There's some like niche isekai stuff that I don't know if I'll be watching. At this
Yeah.
point, I've seen enough isekai to, if it doesn't look interesting, okay. I know that none of them are technically
Yeah, you
interesting.
can kind of like take a glance at it and tell if it's like your style.
If
or
if it seems more quirky than your typical isekai, then I will like entertain the idea of watching it. Like I almost skipped over Mushoku because the description for it was fucking awful. Like it just made it seem like really average, like an isekai cheat magician or something. But then I
I
was
definitely
talked into
skipped over
watching it.
Mushoku for a bit.
Yeah,
I want to say almost the entire first season, I skipped over Mushoku, and then around the time season 2 started, which it was split core, right? So it wasn't that big of a difference.
it was season 1 still, but just split core. Yeah.
It wasn't like a big difference. It
And
was
then
just, like,
there's the OVA as well that came out.
the Goblin Slayer one.
Yeah. I hate thinking of like I'm like looking through like the fantasy genre on my list or whatever, and I hate looking at non-isekai fantasy and be like, yeah, that's the not isekai type of fantasy. Then I have to make that distinction. I can't just call it fantasy in
You
my
have
mind.
to differentiate isekai from non-isekai. And that's like what we were saying with like isekai and shonen being two terms that have kind of like transcended the generalization
Yeah,
that
because like
we have for genres.
isekai is like a subcategory of genre at best. It's a tool of writing, and then like shonen is a demographic. Same with shoujo, but
Right.
they're just so like known that they're
Being a
genres.
sports isekai, the Space Jam isekai. Don't answer that. Anyway,
I mean, technically, if you want to go down that route, No Game No Life and Mandaji Tachi are both technically sports. Any
Okay, dude.
No,
chess is technically a sport. You have to
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to argue with that. You know what? You're right.
the definition
You know
of
what,
the definition of sport is that through physical exertion of some kind, you compete. So, and technically, as long as you're moving a body part to progress the game, it's a sport. Jacking off
Sure.
is technically a sport if you do it competitively.
Okay,
we
dude.
definitely
Okay,
did
stop.
not need to
Yo,
go
that
there.
you're referencing a forbidden.
The forbidden
user.
he's back on YouTube actually.
All right, there are
Only a matter of time until he gets caught again, but
There are a total of 5 shows that have both the tag isekai and sports, and I don't know what they are.
to read the titles of them.
There's F, like just letter F.
Just
It
F.
looks like
Epic?
some sort of racing
Wicked.
Formula One
I
racing
see. It's
anime.
from 1988.
Yeah.
Just
So there's
F.
the Isho no training shorts. We won't talk about those. There's Idaten Jump, which is biking.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
That's a
there's
sport. That's a sport. Lance
Extra
Armstrong.
Olympia
Hashtag live strong.
Extra Olympia Kyclo,
I've
which
never
is
heard
ancient
of any of
Greece.
these.
It's ancient Greece. We were just talking about is ancient
You're
Greece.
not about
isekai.
no, ancient Greece is not an isekai. No.
All I'm saying.
No.
I see it right here.
Okay.
This has isekai tag on it. I don't understand what it is though. Okay.
I don't know what it is either, and that means I don't get
Yeah, this is crazy.
I'm not getting this as an isekai. I refuse.
Is
Anyway,
this even an anime?
those are the 5 things that have both isekai and sports tag on them. We need a real isekai sports. Think
So,
Space
are
Jam,
you
but
saying
bigger.
that chess is not a real sport?
I am saying that No Game No Life does not have the sports tag on it, and therefore I reject it.
They technically kind of play laser tag.
Listen, who is my anime that's run by? You can just change it, right? No? You can just add the
What?
tag.
I mean,
It's like by a percentage, like for it to register the tag
Oh,
under
okay.
searches, like a certain percentage of people need to add the tag.
Well, you
But
know
you're
what to
right.
do now.
Technically, you could add. Yeah, right.
True.
it's like how on Steam you can add tags to stuff, and you'll get like Garfield Cart. God dang it, dude! I cannot speak. Holy shit! I'm not looking forward to the outro for today. Garfield Cart is like it has some evil tags on it. Like let me how do I spell Garfield? Okay, Garfield Cart.
You
$5
can think
by
Garfield,
the
and I
way.
just think of the cat.
So what the fuck? Okay, why can I not view more tags? Okay. It used to have some like okay, yeah. Garfield Cart is like tagged as like capitalism. It's just random shit.
Has a bunch of tags for no real reason.
Yeah, like a lot of people on Steam will do that. I don't know why they give that kind of power to people, but those be like some of the most random tags on things. Like some will be like Souls-like, even if it's not anywhere near a Souls game.
Yeah, I mean tags are. I don't know. They're arbitrary.
Like,
I guess.
can you
Doesn't-
imagine you're just trying to look for like I don't know Garfield Cart? Or are you trying to look for some weird
to look
like
for,
a
like,
Souls-like
some
game, and
capitalist-
you see Garfield Cart?
Oh yeah.
Like you're just trying to see stuff like Elden Ring or whatever, and then Garfield Cart comes up. What do you do?
I think the first time it'd be kind of funny, but if it keeps popping up, then I'd probably be like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff on Steam, like we discovered last week.
Yeah. Let's get off Steam real quick.
Get off Steam
we
before I run.
can't do this again.
That shit is baked.
You brain rot. Let's go.
That shit is baked into my retinas, dude. I regret clicking on that game so badly.
I'm glad I didn't click on that game.
I'll never unsee that for the rest of my life. I'll be on my deathbed and like complaining to my children that it's all I can see. But I feel like we've hit a wall of conversation, and we're about an hour in, so we'll probably end it here.
Yeah, I need to buy
Unless
my
it-
Scottish land.
You need to. I'll link it once we're done here. I'll link you the. I'll link you your Scottish lordship application. But yeah,
Let's go.
that is it for the Isekai episode of the Gochuucast. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, I highly suggest that you go back and look at those. Next week we will be here still. Fuck, you know what?
Talking about
But
something.
before this episode, I had a whole plan in my mind for the outro, and now that I'm doing it, it's gone. I can't think of what it was.
Oh,
It's just
I like
gone.
that.
Okay. From the top. If you enjoyed this episode of the Gochuucast, then leave a like. If you didn't enjoy it, then I don't know why you're still watching at this point. I'd prefer if you didn't.
People like
leave it.
anyway.
Yeah, leave a like anyway. I prefer if you didn't leave a dislike. Leave a comment if you want to join the conversation. I will, at the very least, like it and maybe reply to it. If you want to listen to our episodes on the go, you can do so by going to our Anchor, which has all the links to our other platforms that we're on, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other relevant ones. And yeah, every Saturday at 3 p.m. you will get a new episode of the Gochuucast. We have yet to fail on that, so I hope to see you next week. Thank you and goodbye.